My journey from Thailand to Malaysia was completely unexpected. But standing here now, I was no longer upset about the fact that I didn't get my Vietnam visa, or that I had to come to this country despite having no initial intention of doing so. The road getting here had already given me a sense of peace about the detour. Even so, I had no plans to stay in Malaysia for a long time. My only goal was just to stay long enough to figure out my next move. But that was before I arrived at this hotel. From the outside, it's a very basic building. It gives you the impression that it's just another ordinary hotel. But the moment you get past the reception and head to the upper floor, you instantly see the heart of this place, the common sitting area. It was filled with so many unique things that an individual story could have been told about each thing on its own. Yet, despite all the details, the vibe of the place was incredibly calm. I wanted to instantly sit down and explore the space. But first, I needed to put my stuff down, so I headed to my room. This was actually my first experience staying in a pod hotel. Inside, it was exceptionally clean, perfectly quiet, and offered all the privacy you could expect for. For me, it was the perfect setup. I dropped my bags, and since I had just come from a very long journey, I went straight to take a shower. I was honestly surprised by how clean it was. You don't usually see that level of cleanliness in commonly shared restrooms. The comfort of the place instantly took over me. Feeling completely relaxed after the shower, I went straight to the bed and woke up the next morning. I knew breakfast was included, but I expected the usual couple of slices of bread and some butter and jelly on the top. Instead, I walked into a full on buffet. It had everything from English breakfast options to local Malay cuisine. I was genuinely stunned. As the days passed, I started to become more and more comfortable in that space. I had initially only booked for 2 nights, but before I knew it, the checkout time was staring me in the face the next morning, and I was simply not ready to leave. I went down to the reception and instantly booked for another night. And that same cycle happened a few more times until I was nearing a whole week spent inside those walls. I loved it there because the environment was incredibly cozy. It almost felt like home. But that was exactly the problem. I was becoming too comfortable. And because of that, I was missing out on everything else I could have been doing. Even though I did go out and visit some beautiful places around Kuala Lumpur, there was still a deeper hunger for something else. I did not want to stay in one safe spot for the entirety of my trip. That's just not who I am. In fact, that comfort trap is the exact reason I left my home back in Pakistan to travel in the first place. And I knew if I stayed here any longer, I would just get stuck in the same exact pattern again. And the more you delay leaving a comfortable place, the harder it eventually becomes to walk out that door. So, in that exact moment, I opened my phone, booked my ticket for the next destination, and got ready to leave the next morning. I had escaped the trap of comfort once more, but this place had changed something inside of me. Initially, I did not want to stay in Malaysia any longer than I absolutely had to. But my time in this hostel made me realize that there might be so many places where I haven't been yet. Places that could provide me with an experience just as great as this one, or maybe even better. It wasn't fair for me just to write off an entire country, simply because it wasn't the original destination I wanted to be in. So I decided to get back on the road. And this next journey is something that I won't be forgetting anytime soon.